Now, as I previously stated, there were trainloads would be in here. And before Hitchcock was developed, this was known as Tackard's beef pasture, from the Harlem-Buyer on one side and Cronkway and Greensbury on the other side. They had as many as 3,000 and 4,000 head of beef in here at one time. Then eventually, along about before the 1900 storm, we got some farmers in, from Italians and German settlers in, start raising vegetables. And we were shipping these vegetables north to a co-op, which my father was secretary of. And as most co-ops go, when the returns come back on your money, well, they're not what the farmers anticipated. So that didn't go very good, so the association broke up, and my dad started the business of his own known as George Henckel Company, all along about 1900, I guess, maybe 1899, as far as I can tell from the kinfolks. And that thrived along. Sometimes we'd have as many as 3 and 4 baggage cars on the railroad siding here, and we'd load those with vegetables every night. And they would go north into North Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and some of it as far as Utah. But eventually we had a epidemic of what we call lice. There were little insects which just ate our vegetables up, and it wasn't profitable. And at that time, the Rio Grande Valley started up shipping vegetables out, and we couldn't compete with those. So eventually all the vegetables businesses went out in Hitchcock. But at that time, there was 10 produce houses, 2 saloons, 2 butcher shops, 1 blacksmith shop, 1 tailor shop, and 2 ice houses. And our population was around from $600 to $800. We'd go to the post office every morning. We knew everybody. Shake hands with them, stay there and talk a few minutes. Now we go to the post office, we say good morning and go home. We don't know anybody anymore. At least I don't. Let's put it that way. But that was some of the things what happened in the good old days. Okay. Then before the 1900 storm, we had a 3-story hotel here. I don't know if anyone remembers. I know you folks don't remember it, but I don't either. But my mother tells me these stories, and it went down in the 1900 storm. It belonged to Adolph Tackard in the 1900 storm doing it, and it was on right there on the corner where Fanny Shiro lives now. That was the old Shiro place, and that's where the hotel was. Oh yeah, we had 2 lumber yards too then. I didn't put that in that other one. So we had quite a few businesses here with all the other things we had going on. Then I can go up, along 1915, we had another hurricane, which almost wiped us out. It did do a lot of damage, and it come up, the water at the old school, the old brick school, was 18 inches in the bottom of that school. That's how far the tide water came up. Cotton was on the railroad tracks there where the old gym is. So we've had quite a time trying to get this little old town straightened out and going. But long in about 1931, I can go, that's when Highway 6 was started. Before then we had Highway 38. All the railroads and the tracks and the highways were side by side, right next to each other, because you didn't have any markers. You had to stay along the railroad track to know where you was going. There wasn't any markers on the highways at all. And these large cattle pens, where we unloaded, where the Hackards unloaded the cattle, was where the library is now. That was the cattle stop. Then they moved it west as the town developed. I guess the vegetable business was the mainstay of Hitchcock up until about 1922 or 23, something like that. Then it eventually petered out, and the refineries were starting up in Texas City, so most of our people had to go to work at the refineries and give up farming. And that's the way it was. Any questions?
Did y'all get any allowance when y'all was
Any allowances? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
We get maybe 2 bits a week. You know what 2 bits is?
No.
25 cents. Okay, question. Question.
What about the schools?
Schools? Well, when I went to school, there was 2-room school over where the high school is now. 2 wooden rooms. And we'd carry the water to drink. They had an artesian well where the library is now. We'd go down there, we'd hold up a hand, see which one go get the water. You know, it'd take 15, 20 minutes. So we'd go down and get a bucket of water twice a day for the children to drink.
What was the population?
802. This is up until about 1922 or 23, something like that. That's when it increased now.
How many gas stations do you have?
Gasoline stations? Well, the early part we didn't have gas stations. The grocery stores handled gasoline, and they'd get it in 55-gallon drums. And the few who had automobiles would go up, and Mr. Henck had a store, not my folks, but his name was Henck, H-E-N-C-K. And he'd bring gasoline out in 5-gallon cans and pour it into the tank, and the tanks were under the front seat of the cars. So everybody had to get out the front seat and take the cushions out to put your gasoline in.
How did Stewart get its name?
Stewart Elementary School was named from Mako Stewart in Galveston. He was a criminal lawyer, and at that time, bills were paid by bartering. People get in trouble, Mr. Stewart get him out of trouble, he didn't have any money, so they gave him some land. And that's how he got some of this. This was owned by Mako Stewart of Galveston at one time, and he gave it to the Hitchcock Independent School District. So they named this school after Mr. Stewart.
Well, when did your people decide to move to Hitchcock?
Well, my grandparents moved right after the 1900 storm. They were in Galveston at the time of the storm. They lived out on Q and a Half, which it's in the Gulf now where Q and a Half used to be because the seawall is there. But in the 1900 storm kept getting bad and worse, so my grandfather said, I better go get you